Greetings, everyone. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining this. Man, it's already Wednesday. Kyle, it's already March.
Yeah, 4 years, man. We've been doing this for 4 years. We started off on Tuesday nights, remember? And then we went to Saturdays. It kept switching around Tuesdays, Saturdays, and on
Uh-huh.
Wednesdays. Now we've settled on Wednesdays.
Yeah, we
You
started
know,
on Wednesday. Yeah, so
yeah, I'm probably the most frequent guest out of all these years. Out of all
you
the
are. You're the
I am
most consistent. Yeah,
most
you are.
consistent, and I learned a long time ago. People respect consistency. When you're saying something and you're building over the years and you're consistent in your message and everything, you may evolve, but I'm at the age where I don't really evolve. Everything you see is like 50 years of just not everything you think. I don't too much have to evolve. I'm always constantly learning. You
Mhm.
always learn something new every day. I'm saying I'm never going to stop learning. You never stop learning till you die. But the thing is, though, when you first saw Collar Genesis here, I'm saying the same message that I said 4 years ago.
Right.
And I've been consistent. And a lot of people that have blown up now, like calling names and whatnot, have been using my talking points, using my blogs, everything, and going out there and blowing themselves up and everything like that. I said, wait a minute, I said that years ago.
Hmm.
People, they want to give me credit and respect. Hey, that's fine, as long as the message is out there. But tonight, I know you got to set your show up to talk about the trip and everything like that. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna your
Yeah. So
trip, your
everyone,
trip.
like, share, subscribe. Go to dynastymere.com. No, more importantly, go to donfo.africa. Guys, all the bugs, the site is up, is running. All the bugs. We had to switch to a larger server. It was the site was up and down, up and down. It's done. The site is up and running. We'll check that out real quick. Got a tour, Sierra Leone, April 20th to the 30th. Come and join us if you are interested. Also, if you have your African ancestry DNA results, and it links you back to a tribe in Sierra Leone, you are eligible for citizenship. And Sierra Leone is leading the way when it comes to offering tangibles to the diaspora. Again, Sierra Leone is leading the way when it comes to offering tangibles to the diaspora. No other country is offering what Sierra Leone is offering. So, guys, make sure you go to the site. Also, if you want to contribute, in fact, Kala, have you written about your experience in Liberia?
Oh, I have not yet. I was gonna write some blogs and stuff like that. I have this one blog called Monrovia and an African city, and I have one blog like that one like that, and another blog I was gonna write called "In This Land I'm a King." And stuff like that, my experience there and stuff like that, and all the stuff that I learned there, how it was a beautiful blend of modern and traditional African cultures all blended into one, and how honestly I just felt like that I belonged, I belonged there. Like I was like, it was almost like, yeah, well, it's like almost like it's like if somebody's been kidnapped for a long time. You go to your house and you just fit right in. This is where I was supposed to be all the time. So that's the feeling I got when I went to Liberia, and I had a good time. God's willing, we're going to be going back again July this year. If you want to join me on that trip, let me know and stuff like that. We got a lot of stuff set up, events set up, and celebrating the bicentennial. My group, the BAO Liberia chapter, and the Association of African Americans of Liberia, are instrumental in bringing that bicentennial for the last 2 years. And also we have people on the different committees. A thing if you really are interested in doing a tourism business in Liberia and stuff like that, reach out to me and I can help you out with that. So we got a lot of stuff going on in that country, and I believe that Liberia, then Sierra Leone, then Ghana, and all these countries are interconnected. But we got to be working together in some capacity. Everybody wants to do their thing on their own, and then when they don't get they hook up with the wrong people, and they get burned, and they're like, well, this, that, and the other thing. Well, you didn't come to us, and because we got the people in my social network, I got Brother Bamani, and I got several other people that they got the connections on the ground, and Dinah Samir, and a lot of other people. and this thing can happen. My people in Liberia and everything like that. So this social network and is ground zero for that. The BAIL social network. If you want to join that, join the BAIL, download the app, connect with good people on the ground, and so a lot of stuff going. A lot of exciting stuff's coming on in the next few years. This is like a New Testament. 2022 begins Liberia's New Testament, right? And all the stuff that we were talking about is coming to fruition. There's an old Confucius philosophy that says the philosophy of one century should be common sense in the next century. Fast forward to the modern times, right? The philosophy of one decade should be common sense in the next decade. See, they were talking about hundreds of years back then. So everything that was said about this movement was said 100 years ago. Marcus Garvey got up 100 years ago this year and talked about what we need to do. Now it should be common sense. It shouldn't be, we shouldn't even debate this. We need to build Africa. We need to build an African plan. We cannot put all our eggs in the basket. Right now, all our eggs in the Democratic Party basket. Come hell over high.
We're gonna talk about that. Let me finish. Just going through the site real quick. So, guys, go to Donfo. Again, Donfo.Africa. Oh, if you want to contribute, I have two blogs on here. One is called Memoirs, where you could share your experience in Africa, and then another one, Culture. If you guys have any recipes or anything you'd like to share, you could do that under Culture. So any recipes, any food related, language related contributions that you want to give to the site, you're more than welcome. So Sierra Leone, I need to change the dates on here, but right now it's April 20th to the 30th. Citizenship opportunities are available. Make sure you go to Donfo.Africa, travel, Sierra Leone. That's going to come up here shortly. And then also come on, Sierra Leone, come on. Okay, what's going on? It's going. It's going. Come on now. Okay, let me see you tonight. Let me try a new window, maybe. Hold on one second. Okay, it just seems like my internet is slow today. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're back on the main page. Travel, Sierra Leone. This is the main page. And it's view everywhere that we're going. You just scroll to the bottom or click on travel on the top. All right. Go ahead, Colin.
Okay. So tonight's topic is about the Democratic Party, right? And something I've known for a long time, right? For a long time. See, people don't realize the civil rights movement was led by black men initially. It was led by black men, black elders of churches. Then you had the Nation of Islam and stuff like that. This was like they didn't like that, and it was led by black men who basically knew one thing. It's like, look, if we're never going to have credibility in our own communities, right? If we keep turning our backs to racism and stuff like that, we have to deal with that. We have to deal with racism and being men. You look at the, you remember the Memphis when Martin Luther King was assassinated, the garbage strikers. Remember that?
Right.
One of the things that always struck me, what they were saying was, look, I just want the dignity of being a man. So in other words, basically, what we have in a culture, right, and it's still with us to this day, is that you got certain white men who do not want to respect black men, as equals, right? So therefore, what you do is this: you elevate other black people who basically are antagonists towards us, right? Notice how everything you hear is directed at the black men in America. You know, oh, black women are most educated and everything. That's a slight to the black man. That's a throw to the black man. Nigerians are doing so well. That's the African American man. You know, everything they do. Oh, look at all these immigrants. Look at the back in the days it was the Koreans. Oh, the Koreans are coming over here. Well, look to the deeper. The United States is giving the Koreans money to settle over here and opportunities, everything they're not giving to black people. You know, some white people made that point. Yeah, we're helping the Koreans. We're giving the Asians free education. We gave the Asians free education, also like that. And this was done by the party we voted into power, the Democrats. The Democrats in the 60s controlled 2/3 of the Senate and the White House. They was almost like the main white America. The majority of white America were Democrats. You know, in the South, North, East, working class unions, everything, they were Democrats, right? The Republicans were always in the minority up until like Nixon's time. Okay. So therefore, what I'm saying is the Democrats had the power to empower Black America, but they didn't do it. Instead, they pivoted towards Black immigrants, Caribbeans, Chinese, Indians, all these other people. So therefore, when they said affirmative action, they were not talking about African American male empowerment, which would have created a whole thing of Black families and generation. We would not have had the welfare state that we currently have right now with Section 8. We didn't have Black men. And I'm going to talk about what happened in the 90s, right? The 90s, because you guys weren't really around in the 90s, but I remember this vividly. When Black America, when the Democrats Joe Biden, all these people start talking about the crime bill and everything. I'm going to tell you why that happened, okay? I'm going to tell you why that happened, okay? That reason why that happened was the Democrats were losing votes, the white middle class vote, working class vote. And because of the Willie Horton ad of 1988, I don't think anybody remembers that, Willie Horton ads, right? And it happened.
Hold on, was really Horton the guy that got released from prison and murdered somebody and
right, furloughed, and that was at the last minute. Lee Atwater said we're gonna use that. They were down in the polls, and then when they released the Willie Horton ad, it worked. White people said, "Oh wow, that's what the Democrats are all about." You know, they're already taking our jobs and everything. Even though when they said affirmative action, Black men they was not getting affirmative. It was mostly white females, Asians, everybody else. But so they use affirmative action, they use crime and everything to sway the white vote. So in the process of that, they said, look, you know, we lost big time with the white vote. We're never going to win again because all about the Democrats getting their agenda done, right? We did use us for our votes. So what they did was they said, you know something, we're going to pivot, right? And we're going to be the party of tough on crime. That's what Joe Biden came along. We're going to do our own Southern strategy. You know, that's
one second, Kyle. I just want to point this out real quick. Guys, on the site, you know, we accept crypto. So Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, prefer Bitcoin, but in fact, pretty soon it's probably just going to be Bitcoin. But Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin, Zelle, and then also, of course, credit cards as well. So I just wanted to share that real quick. All right, go ahead, Kyle. Sorry about that.
Okay, so the Willie Horton ads, right, changed the dynamics of politics in America. And you ask yourself, why did this happen? Why did this happen? Everything would seem like it was going good up into the mid 80s, right? But something monumental happened in Black America, right? And this is what our African brothers need to understand, right? Black America, right, just said, we don't care about affirmative action. Our focus to like 90% was on apartheid South Africa. Okay, Black America was mobilized in every city, every mayor, every township said we're going to boycott South Africa. Then we galvanized the Democrats and Republicans to override the President Reagan's veto of sanctions on South Africa. When sanctions hit South Africa in 1985, 1986, right, the whole international global thing was just disrupted, right? And the thing was, right after that, I remember that summer of 86, the year I graduated high school, right? Right away, they news articles done by international media and stuff like that started attacking the Black community in America. They started saying these people that had all this power, right, that delivered this thing, right, was dangerous. So they basically started doing hit pieces on Black America crime, Black America out of control, Black poverty. They started doing things about the welfare mother, you know, welfare queens, all stuff like this, all this negativity that's still with us to this day. Before that, it was like we had the Cosby era. It was like before that happened, it was like Bill Cosby, Black America has made it and everything like that, you know. And then you had certain entertainers, right, like Bill Cosby, who sided with this radical movement. You know, like Bill Cosby helped finance the movie Malcolm X. You know, and he was basically gave $100 million to HBCUs. You know, so all this stuff like that was coming in Black America or Black empowerment, right? The white power structure did not like. Then they put out this book called The Bell Curve, you know, talking about blacks are inferior, they stuff like this. All this was attacking Black America. And then you had this guy called David Duke that was around. And people were like, oh, David Duke's and he was basically making inroads into Republican circles and white American circles, right? And so therefore, it looked like Black America was under siege, right? And so 1988 was like the last time. Then the 88 convention, right? I remember this, right? There was a guy called Rob Brown who was he later became Clinton's Secretary of Commerce, right? He died in a mysterious plane crash. You know,
Yeah, he's the one. He died in a plane crash outside of Africa, was it? Or he was going
Greece.
to
I think it was Greece.
Africa?
I think it was Greece. I think it was Greece. Greece or Africa, somewhere in the Mediterranean, I believe. You know.
Yeah,
but he
died, I remember that
plane crash, right? And then what happened was this, though. What happened was, Ron Brown was like, "Oh, we need black." He was setting on business, you know, for black people and everything. If the caucus would have won in '88, there was all these black men that were at the convention to talk about amping up minority set-asides and stuff like that. So therefore, black people turned out for the Democrats in '88 in record numbers, right? But the Willie Horton ads basically, and also them putting up things saying, look, if you let the Democrats, blacks are going to get all this stuff. Now, this is only what was already promised to Black America, right? They say, we want you to become Americans. We have a history of discrimination against you. And so therefore, we're going to rectify that by giving you a minority set-asides and government contracts and everything. Now, get this. White people had 100% of the contracts, right? They didn't want to give up even 4%. You know, they didn't want to give up 4% because they said it's undeserving. Even though white people would get contracts, right, they would fail in business and everything. Black people, the myth of the unqualified black person getting something that white people deservedly supposed to get. That's what they kept putting out there, right? So this was 1988. Now you calculate how many years, 34 years, I believe, right now, 34 years. So 34 years, right, there has not been a serious black agenda to Black America. Because before, they were talking about real tangibles, right? We need to build a black entrepreneurs class. We need to build black business class. We need to get more black people in this, right? And what happened was the racists in the Republican Party and all these people use that to basically say, look, see all these neo-Nazis and everything like that's growing? That's because of black progress. So we were stuck in a limbo. And that's why you had the I don't care movement with the hip hop and all stuff like that came out, and the gangster rap and all stuff like that. We don't care about the mainstream of America and everything. And I think the millennial generation, you guys' generation, are engaging America more than our generation, Generation X did, because we just gave up. We said these people are never going to give us a fair shake and everything. So we just opted out of the whole thing. And so this is what happens. So Bill Clinton comes along, right? Two Southerners, Bill Clinton and Al Gore, right? And what did Bill Clinton do? You saw pictures of him with black prisoners and inmates at a thing, you know. Bill Clinton had a guy that was innocent executed in Arkansas, right? And to cover that up, the family got some money, right? The guy was mentally retarded, right? But he went off his campaign trail to sign a death warrant to execute that guy, to boost his thing up with the white community, that I'm tough on crime and everything. Because white people, for the most part, don't like Republicans, you know, because the Republicans, all our business and stuff like that. White people like all these things they accuse us of, right? Government handouts and stuff like that, right? But they don't want us to get it. You see what I'm saying? They don't want us to get it. And so Bill Clinton basically became the darling of the white working class and stuff like that. He was the liberal left and everything. They love Bill Clinton. You know why? Because he was going to deliver all the stuff they say and everything. And he was also going to keep black people pacified. Why? By playing the saxophone, by somebody telling Terry McMillan saying he's the first black president, all this kind of nonsense and everything. And so that's what it is. So we haven't had a black agenda, right? We haven't had a black agenda. Then comes George W. Bush, right? Even though nothing improved for Black America during Bill Clinton's thing, right? they still were like, well, it was we can't let him have it because there was too many black people. Just because he had some black people in the White House, just because he had Nelson Mandela there, just because he had Vernon Jordan riding him around on a golf cart and everything, to white America, and I want people to think about this, white America, that's too black for them. So in other words, they're telling you, don't have a nation of your own, right? But we don't want you to be American either. You think about that. You can't, we don't want you to have a nation of your own, right? But we don't want you, but too many blacks in the White House, right? Bill Clinton had too many black friends and everything, even though nothing benefited from black, we didn't benefit at all from from idiots, right? It was too much for many white people. There's too much everything. So therefore, what happened was there was no agenda on the table, right? It was called benign neglect. We're going to benign neglect black people for their own good. Because if we give too much for black people, right? We give too much for black people, we give anything, right? Any concession, right? That's going to mean the radical right wing is going to rise up, and David Duke is going to have a talk about see like that. So you have to basically tell the white people, we ain't doing shit for black people. That's how racist this country is. Now in 2022, right? Now white people are like, oh, well, I guess we could give black people something. It's too late for that. You know, it's too late for that. You had 34 years to get this right. Now our community is in shambles right now. 34 years, they could have been building Black America, right? Post-civil rights, and they didn't. Now, basically, they're like giving us crumbs. And then at this last election, right, Joe Biden did the same thing again. He gave us absolutely nothing. Why? Because they fear
No, because all we wanted to do was get rid of the orange man.
They wanted to get rid of the orange man. You know, we not, that's one thing about this. Not only didn't give us anything, we didn't want anything. We said, as long as we get rid of the orange man, our problems are solved. All the stuff we were talking about, everything's going to go back to normal. The orange man's back in power. And I blame this on the fact that we so got enamored with Barack Obama's presidency that we thought that we had arrived. We thought we achieved, and this is a different place. No, it's not. You know, no, it's not. It has not changed whatsoever. White people are like this. And I tell you about the state of Virginia, right? And it's a case study, right? Right now, Virginia's repealing a whole bunch of laws that they had on the books, right? That they knew, that they did a study that said that destroyed the black community. One was, I don't know how it is in Georgia, but traffic ticket laws, right? In Virginia, right? If you have a traffic ticket, you couldn't pay. Let's say you went to jail and you had a ticket, right? And by the time you got jail, you owe the state like $4,000. They know you're never going to pay that back, right? We don't have mass transportation here. So people would be tempted to drive without a license and then get arrested again. It's a vicious cycle. So therefore, what happened was Northam got rid of that, right? Now, if you owe thousands of dollars, you can still get a driver's license. Now, even if you owe traffic fines, you don't get your license suspended. So they said there was a thing that was disproportionately affecting black people. Now, ask a question. Why didn't they know that when they passed those laws in the first place? Why? Because they knew it was going to devastate black people. And also, not only that, and here is if you have a certain amount of misdemeanors, felonies, you can't get certain jobs. So that made it easier for white people to have access to jobs that a lot of black people have, because black people have criminal records and stuff. Right. And so therefore, what you have was what I'm saying now. They're trying to ease back that stuff like that. They made marijuana. They don't arrest you for marijuana purchase, everything like that. Little stuff like that was devastating the black community and whatnot. You know, oh, you got caught with some weed on you, or you got caught smelling like weed. You know, or you caught whatever. All that stuff they don't do anymore. Why? Because it was devastating black community. It was crippling the black male population and everything in Virginia. And still, there's a large numbers of black people in America, Virginia, who are doing very well. They said so. All you did was basically give black, and I've seen it with my own eyes, man. I seen people, and I asked them, I said, well, why can't you do this? I got a felony. So in other words, you work 10 years and everything, you're at a dead-end job right now. I do insurance, right? And I ask people, I try to get people into this business that I'm in, right? Oh, I can't get it, right? Because I got a felony. Virginia, I don't know if they repealed that, right? If you have a felony, you can't get a Virginia insurance license, right? And I thought that was nationwide, right? Until
here in Georgia, technically you can't, but you can appeal to like the commissioner, to the board.
Right. I had when I went down to Georgia, I went to Thomasville, Georgia back in 2011, right? I went down there for an insurance thing, right? And I met with a bunch of insurance agents down there, right? And I was sitting in a hotel room. One of the agents came by and had some beers with us, me and my brother, right? And he said, "Yeah, man." And he was telling me about all his. He said he was a bad felon. He had those records. I said, "Well, how do you got an insurance license?" He said, "Well, yeah, we that doesn't matter down here in Georgia." I said, "You kidding me?" I said, "So in other words, you have felonies, right? You have a lot of felonies, and you got a Georgia license for insurance. You can sell insurance." Yeah, yeah. And I said to my guy, I said, "Virginia, if you have a misdemeanor, well, they're trying to hold your license up, and yeah, they know who that's directed towards. That's directed towards us." So my point I'm trying to make tonight is this, right? Like this. Some things have changed over the time period and everything, right? But where were all these? What was the Congressional Black Caucus? Where were all these black people in the legislatures and everything when these laws are being passed in the first place, right? Because I really don't think a lot of people and also remember something. It was the Congressional Black Caucus who went along with the crime bill. They support the crime bill. They support the crime bill. They said yes. Listen, why? Because the crime bill was all about an exaggeration of black crime in America. Black crime in America was lower then than it is now, right? And so therefore, it was the whole thing of the perception of black crime. Movies like New Jack City, movies like Boys, Menace to Society, movies, the gangster rap videos and stuff like that. So you had white people fearing black crime, fearing inner city crime, and do something about these people in crime, right? And so we had the black legislatures had no choice but to go along with it, or the Democrats would have never won another election. You had the crime bill sponsored by Joe Biden, supported by Newt Gingrich and all these other people and everything, and we have to basically get rid of crime. And so therefore, it was not about that. It was just to appease the majority of the white community that Black America is under control, and why wasn't the crime bill done in the 80s? Why wasn't it done in the 70s, right? Because black people were gaining political power, right, through their own means. And so in the boycott of South Africa right there galvanized this. We had Mayor Maynard and all these other people said, we're not going to accept any South African planes. We're going to divest, all the black HBCUs said, we're going to divest from South African rand. And then a couple of years later, the rand was illegalized. It was illegal tender, right? It was illegal to import rand into the United States. So all that power was brought by Black America. And so therefore, they're like, if these people could do that, right, what else can they do? And so therefore, there was this war against black people. No one understand something. If we would just basically sit in our place and do nothing, right, like that. But you don't have people 400 years sitting in a country, right, and tell them to be quiet about certain things. Like perfect example. We talk about Jesse Jackson, but he spoke out about the United States invading Grenada. He spoke. He met with Fidel Castro. He met with Fidel Castro. And so therefore you had this. You had Colin Powell even went to Nelson Mandela's inauguration. He was down there and he was sitting next to Fidel Castro, and Hillary Clinton was right there. So in other words, we have all.
Let me ask you: what exactly did Colin Powell do? Like, what's he? Just the general? Like, what is he exactly?
Well, he was a chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff. He should have left it at that. When they made him the Secretary of State, whatever like that, that's when he made his mistake, right? Because as always we do with black people, right? When the white man gives us a position, right? We have to like that. He made a fool out of himself for Rumsfeld and Bush, And what happened was this: at first he was against the Iraq War, right? And he said there was no weapons of mass destruction. And then what happened was Rumsfeld and Bush got Gingrich to come out of retirement, right? And say and do press releases attacking Powell to whip him back in line. And then next thing you know, Powell preempted that by going to the UN and basically showing some videos, these little videos of weapons of mass destruction being hauled into Iraq, which was all a lie. Why? Because the bottom line is this. Bottom line is we have to have, when you have a black man in power, right? And he's getting paid and everything, he's more thinking about his legacy than basically the truth. The power of the white man, the white power, and that was back then. But there's no excuse for it right now. There's no excuse for it. We have social media now. Now you can have your own platform. You can say whatever you want to say. You can have Twitter. You have all the stuff like that, tools at your disposal. You don't have to basically go along with what the New York Times says, because the New York Times, despite people saying liberal, was pushing the Iraq War. So was CNN. They were pushing the Iraq War. So was MSNBC. All these people were pushing the Iraq War, weapons of mass destruction, and all stuff like this. And Colin Powell went along with it. There was no alternative media and anything like that back then. This is why right now it's hard for them to get us involved with the Ukraine war, because social media is like, no, we're not going to do that. The mainstream media would love to tell you, yeah, it was time to get into war with this. Look at the backlash that happened against social media backlash against the war with Libya. People still haven't forgiven Obama or Hillary Clinton for that war in Libya. Why? That had not been for social media.
No. I disagree. Black people have completely forgiven. Black people forgave him. In fact, black people blame. Listen, black people blame Gaddafi. Oh, he had it coming. He had it coming.
Yeah, well, black people in America, but black people on the continent, like
black people in America, right? Black people in America,
black people on the continent, like because before that, black people on the continent loved Barack Obama, and after that, they didn't care for him too much, And Obama put extended sanctions on Zimbabwe. Why? And he arrested a couple of African American activists that were working for Mugabe in Chicago. Arrested them. For because they were on sanctions and everything. If you're an American citizen, you deal with countries under sanctions and everything, you can go arrested. So all that's forgotten right now, right? All that's forgotten. It was a Democratic administration, Barack Obama, who basically did this to Gaddafi and put sanctions on Mugabe. We black people in America don't galvanize our political. We would have a lot of political influence in Africa if we had an African agenda on the table, Right. But along comes this ADOS FBA stuff, right? And the stuff I'm hearing right now, where hold your own nuts over there in Ukraine, and all this kind of stuff like that. Does that sound diplomatic? Does that sound anything? Yeah, we all take smacks at the Ukrainians. Yeah, they got their wake up call and everything. But okay, we get that. Okay, the social media backbone. Now let's think about the reality of this right there. If it looks like Black America is turning its back on these Africans and everything, how does that make us think when we're trying to build Pan-African bridges to the continent? Nobody in the Democratic Party has an alternative view of what should happen to brothers and sisters in Africa, the U.S. policy towards Africa. Where's the Democratic parties, the Black Democratic Party, towards giving Africa more aid, right? The state of Israel got $30 billion from Obama before he left office, right? How much money Ghana right now is sinking in economic ruin right now? It's going down the tubes. Now we talk about Ghana, we love Ghana and going Ghana, we're not. Why is it that the Biden administration hasn't stepped up and said, hey, look, no strings attached, 400 years, we've been taken from your land, everything. It's up to America to make sure West Africa gets a leg up. Is that happening? No. Do we?
Yeah, but that's not the West's job. That's not America's job.
Yeah, but the whole thing is this is why I disagree, right? Because without the Black vote, right? Without the Black vote, the Democrats wouldn't be in power right now. See, if we were basically if we had an agenda, right, a global agenda, right, like other people, everybody else thinks globally. You talk to the Koreans, right? They have their domestic issues and everything, but hey, you don't. You better protect us against North Korea. That's their international agenda. You better help us with our military so we don't get invaded by North Korea. That's their agenda. We as Black people in America, we have 45 million votes, 50 million votes, and everything, and we have no political power behind it. We have nothing on the table behind it. Why? Because they keep giving us the same stupid stuff to talk about. Police brutality, LGBTQ rights, what else? Reparations, all this kind of stupid stuff that's not going to go anyplace.
No, they're not talking about reparations. Now they're talking about voting rights. We can't vote.
Voting rights. Okay, voting rights. Voting right. You have the right to vote. You have the right to vote. Show me anybody. Well, what voter ID? What Negro does not have an ID in his pocket? Now, what Negro doesn't have an ID in his pocket? You have an ID. You can go to the poll and vote. What they want is illegal immigrants to be able to vote and vote most of the time. I was told today that people in Philly voted twice in the last election. They said they voted from their home with the paper, and then they went down to the county. I got that information today, that people are voting twice in Philly and Pennsylvania. And so therefore, what they want to do with these voter rights legislation, they want to use John Lewis Act, right? Not John Lewis, right? To basically make sure that all those illegals coming across the border get access to the right to vote, right? So they can get millions of dollars and everything like that they're not entitled to. Let me tell you something right now. People who are here illegally are not entitled to anything, right? Black America, African Americans, Black America are entitled to certain things because they're U.S. citizens, right? You have a birthright. People coming across the border illegally do not have any entitlement to anything. They're not entitled to vote. They're not entitled to welfare. They're not entitled to jobs. They're not entitled to anything, Now, you may give it to them as a humanitarian aid, right? But it's not an entitlement. Entitlement is by law. You're entitled to this by law. So what's happened is they skewed the line, right? Black America does not even have an identity, right? Wait a minute. They don't say, wait a minute. I'm not just off the boat. I'm an African American. I'm citizen. My bones are buried here, So the bottom line, if your bones are buried here, why are you on the same level as somebody who just came off the boat? You don't even basically like this. So therefore, what we have is the Democratic Party is this. The last thing they have over us is what? Fear, right? I'll be honest with you, Diane man. Back in the days, right, we were in fear. Black America was in fear. We were terrified of David Duke. We were terrified of the far right. We were terrified of all these groups and everything. We didn't know. We were terrified, right? So we sat back. We threw our agenda under the table. We don't care. Just basically, we just wanted like that. And black people became for decades apolitical until Barack Obama came off.
It happened again this past election. So per the black community, Trump was putting together a Nazi KKK super soldier that was going to come and infiltrate and attack the black community. So that's why we just want to get rid of the orange man. Per everybody.
Yeah. So the whole thing is they use fear to keep power over us, right? And I had this thing. You have these white people, these social justice warriors, these white savior types who are on there talking about, yeah, we gotta do this. There's one chick, man. She looks like a friggin' dude, whatever, like that white chick, right? And she's basically talking about Black History Month. She was all on TikTok talking about Black History Month. And I said, oh, thank you, white savior. Thank you. What would we do without you? Wow, that's the problem, man. Blah, 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 blah. I said, look, we do not need your help because the only thing you're caring about is this. You use the black struggle as a Trojan horse because you want your LGBTQ rights. Notice that since Biden's been elected, right, you haven't seen any of these people out there with their Black Lives Matter. Black Lives, these white people out there with their black. Have you seen one, Dynast? Have you seen one rally? None. You have not seen anything. Why? Because they got what they want. They use your emotion, your fear of white people and the fear thing. You have to give over this fear of white people. How you get over your fears of white people? Let them know that. It's like, oh, look, we're just going to opt out of this election. Let the chips fall where they may. Republicans going to take over. So what? If it comes down to a race war or whatever like that, you guys bring it. See, the whole thing, they don't want black. You got grown-ass, big-ass, husky, big, strapping black men acting like scared little children. Oh, the Republicans going to come and get me. Big-ass, strong-ass black men. Acting terrified of some little wimpy GOP types, It's a shame, and then like I said, then you got black women out there. Black women are about, it's like the black women now in America politically are their own group. They're on their own group. They're basically out there campaigning for Democrats. They'll say, well, what's these causes that we ask them, what do you think? Oh, we want more equality. We want more. What are you talking about? Be specific. Who are you talking about? Are you talking about building the black family up? No. It's all about basically showboating in front of white people and everything, and basically making it seem like we have we're going to get something. We're not. The only thing that happens is the people in the Congressional Black Caucus, their kids will go to the best schools, right? They'll get appointed to the best positions and everything. And they got their elite class of people, right, in Black America, because we love those people with those elite degrees.
One second, guys. Make sure you hit the like button again. Please hit the like button. And I'm going to open up the lines here in about 20 minutes. And Colin, let's go ahead and jump into there's black people deflecting when it comes to these gas prices, saying that the president is not responsible when we know that geopolitics, local and foreign, domestic and foreign politics play a role in gas price. In fact, the king of Saudi Arabia said he don't even want to meet with Biden.
Right. It's sad. It's sad. Why? Because he's thinking about Russia. Why would he do that right now? And also, let's talk about too. African countries, Liberia. I love you. You know I love Liberia. It's my home. But y'all Negroes need to shut up. You know, y'all out there talking about, oh, we're gonna fight Putin. Y'all, Liberia. I love you, man. Country, I love you. But y'all need to shut y'all broke asses up, man. Because the bottom line is, Putin has done nothing to you. I don't freaking get it. And then what happened? Did you see in the Central African Republic, right? There was a big rally for Putin, for Russia. Yeah, I think I sent you the video. I think I sent you, Diane, you're muted. I sent you the video, Diane. The Central African Republic, there's a thing. South Africa is part of the BRIC nations. They went neutral,
Right. They South Africa went neutral. Yeah, they would definitely.
Right. So the bottom line is, this is what I'm talking about, a wake up. I don't know what Black America needs to do to wake up. But these countries in Africa, like, look, man, the West, Black people think the West is America, Britain, everything is the end all be all. They're falling. They're falling. And you got to look at the reality of China and Russia, India and all these BRIC countries, Brazil. They're going to be the new power. If the United States keeps pushing Russia, right, Russia could basically switch to cryptocurrency or petrodollar. You think you're hurting them? They didn't think this is 30 years ago. We got crypto. We got all these different alternative currency. You don't need the U.S. petrodollars anymore. And so you got Black people sitting in America. Yeah, that Putin. Look, shut the heck up. We don't know how this is going to play out. How do we as a Black race benefit from this? We benefit from this. We're not thinking about that. We just think that the things are going to go back to normal and everything. Now, about the gas prices. I remember Dinus back in 2008, right? And I remember this, right? I was at a gas pump, right? The gas hit like $2, $4 a gallon, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Black people were freaking at the gas pump pleading the blood of Jesus against the gas prices. You turn on the radio station, Lord, they had intervened. Lord, praise Jesus, we're going to rebuke that gas prices. We're going to bring the gas prices down and whatnot. Now, and I was angry at the time because I hate, how much I hate George W. Bush, right? I blamed him. It was his fault, the gas prices back then, right? The price gouging they were doing at the pump, the thing that was hyperinflating oil futures and stuff like that, And so housing and real estate prices futures were a thing because they repealed the Glass-Steagall Act and whatnot, And basically, when they repealed Glass-Steagall and whatnot, there was no accountability. People were hyperinflating options and gas, oil futures and stuff like that, And so therefore, gas prices start skyrocketing. And so therefore, oil prices futures start skyrocketing, everything with no end in sight. Then when the oil starts crashing, right, it started crashing down, right? And there was a limited supply because there was demand. The gas, they couldn't refine enough, and the gas prices start rising up again, rising up. And so therefore, I knew that wasn't Black America's fault. I love my people, but this is what you asked for. Because everybody from Donald Trump, everybody warned you that this was going to happen.
I did, you did, Brandon did, we all did.
So suck it up, Buttercup, because this is what you asked for. You cannot freaking Roger Hayes said Carl doesn't have the answer but has mouthpiece. Well, Robert, call in, tell me how I don't have the answers.
Carl, let's finish and then we'll open up the lines. So I'm open lines in 16 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. So therefore, now right here, Joe Biden, right? He lied during the presidential debates, right? Remember? He said, "I'm get rid of fracking, whatever his gibber." Right? He said he was going to get rid of fracking. Remember
that? What he said again, Colin? What he said?
He said he wasn't going to get rid of fracking. He lied, right? And basically, after going around talking about oil companies, what is Joe Biden against oil companies? Because Joe Biden is a flunky. Let me tell you about Joe Biden, right? Joe Biden could not win the Senate in states like Pennsylvania, where people like Arlen Specter, Rick Santorum, people like that, right? So what does he do? He go to a small state, politically the most impotent state in the whole union, Delaware, and he becomes a senator because he couldn't. He's from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Why did he become a senator from Pennsylvania? Why Delaware? You ever thought about that? Why? Because politically he was not capable of running in the Philadelphia, that political machine where they ate him up. So he went to Delaware, and he became a senator for all these years, right? Senator from Delaware, from Pennsylvania. He talked about, oh, my roots are Scranton, Pennsylvania. Why aren't you a senator from Pennsylvania, Mr. Biden? He is a senator from the state of Delaware. And not to smash the state of Delaware, but Delaware politically is. Well, do you ever hear anything coming out of Delaware? No. Delaware's a nice state.
Only thing I hear come out of Delaware is set up a business there, because I guess for corporate, C corp,
corporate like that. But Delaware's a beautiful state for black people. Black people are doing very well in Delaware. The black middle class is doing really well in Delaware. But the whole thing is Delaware is not New York. It doesn't move the needle as far as politically, the culture or anything like that. Let me see. I would think Delaware is the same size as Connecticut. Connecticut is politically more potent than Delaware. And states like Virginia and Maryland are more politically potent than Delaware. Delaware is the second smallest state. I think Rhode Island has more political power than Delaware does. As far as when you look at it. Rhode Island is a small state, but Rhode Island is very well developed. I've been to Rhode Island over the last summer. It's very well developed. It's a power. I said, okay, it's a small state, but oh my God, the infrastructure of Rhode Island is incredible. Incredible. You ever been to Rhode Island, Dinas? Yeah, I'm like, go to Rhode Island, Providence. Holy jeez, man! I was like,
I have no desire to go to Rhode Island. But
listen,
if I go anywhere north of New York, I'm going to Toronto. Like I have just New York City. If I go anywhere north of North, I'm going to Toronto.
Rhode Island got a lot of librarians there, so that's why I went there. Librarians, a lot of librarian families there, so that's why I go to. There's a lot of librarians in Rhode Island, Providence, area. But the whole thing is, what I'm trying to say is this, though, Now, what we have is Biden, the presidency, and we have to just own what we have. Our community said we want Joe Biden, and this is what we're going to deal with. $10 a gallon gas or whatnot. It's something there's nothing. Who are you going to complain to? Are you going to blame the orange man now? Are you going to blame the Republicans? No, everything. So everybody now is like, well, just
our people are trying to still blame the orange man.
Yeah, and then they're saying, well, fracking and the drilling in Anwar and the shell gas, and all stuff like that, the new oil exploration, that wouldn't have done anything because they're not doing it now, right? The reason why they're not doing it now is because let's say in the future, right, they say, okay, we're going to do the Keystone Pipeline again, XL Pipeline again, right? 6 months down the road, Joe Biden has dementia, says, oh, no, I think I changed my mind. So they're out billions and billions of dollars, So they're not going to do it, right? They're not going to do it until as long as this administration. You don't come into your first day in office and basically say, I'm going to shut down this because of the environment. What is it, Mr. President? It's an extraterrestrial environment. So therefore, what we have is this. What we have is no more drilling domestically and everything. No more independent. Now he's going to Saudi Arabia. He's going to Venezuela. And God forbid, now he's going to have to even go to Iran to get oil. And this is what you have and everything. Why? Because black people wanted this guy in office. It's almost like to the point where, let me stop, because people end up hating me for what I got to say, The bottom line is we black people in America, we did this. We did this. The dysfunction in black America is what's bringing this country down. I hate to say that, everything you see, you got women. So you see that one video, Diane, is going around viral, where they're in a college campus and these women are saying, the guy said he, her, and the girl jumped on the table ready to fight the guy. Talking about, no, it's they, them. We don't. go by pronouns. She's ready to fight and whatnot. These people would not have any power if it wasn't for the so-called African American community and their alignment with the so-called BLM and all these other people and everything. This outright craziness of people who are altering gender, altering what we know as sanity. People self-identify. I see one guy self-identifying as an owl, and we have to basically see people self-identifying as a dog, people self-identifying as a goat. All this insanity or whatnot was rolled in on Black Lives Matter and all this crazy stuff. And so therefore, this is what we have to have. We didn't have a community where we had specifics. This is what we want and everything. And all this other stuff doesn't pertain to us. No, but we got out there, no matter who was out there, no matter what kind of weirdo and nonsense was out there, we just rolled along with it. And we just went along to go along to get along because we want to be loved. We wanted attention, things were just so bad. The Orange Man was beating us down so bad. Racism, white supremacy is killing us.
Per the black community, there's the super soldier, Nazi, half Proud Boy, half KKK, which is going to start rolling through the black communities and raising hell. Not Pookie and Ray Ray, but the super soldier that Trump was putting together in a secret lab somewhere.
Now, didn't I say it was mostly black women who pushed this agenda? Didn't I say that?
But Colin, where were the black men at?
That's what I'm talking about. So Roderick Hayes says black women are the ones who pushed the Biden agenda thing called Get Your Fact. I said that, if you pay attention, listen for a while, that's exactly what I said. I said,
hey guys, listen, links in the chat room. Link is in the chat room. Hit the like button. The link's in the chat room.
Hit that like button, folks, and hit the super chat. Hit the super chat. I want you guys to support my brother Prince Dinas Amir. For his works. It takes a lot of out of him to do these shows all the time. You people don't realize doing these shows on a consistent basis takes a lot of stuff. You're getting a lot of information. You get a lot of insight. I'm not here to entertain. I'm here to inform and have discussion, have conversation. If you disagree, that's fine. We could always agree to disagree. But the main thing is what they're trying to push now is we shouldn't even have the discussion, Dinas, right? Now they're saying that the FBI is going to be monitoring social media sites for people pushing in other words, if you question the Biden administration now, you're questioning the government. Because Biden got 81% of the vote. He got 81 million votes. He got a mandate. That mandate supersedes what they say as our constitutional right. Take the Constitution, throw that out the door. We got Uncle Joe Biden, we got Stacey Abrams. We got Kamala Harris, right? We got a black woman about to get on the Supreme Court. This is the progressive era and whatnot, If you don't agree with any of this, right, you are anti-progressive. And so therefore we have a right to come and squash you like an ant. We're going to arrest you for sedition. We're going to arrest you for being against the government and everything. And this is what happens. Ben Franklin once said that those who basically trade security for liberty deserves neither. That's what Ben Franklin said. He understood that when you start quashing freedom of speech and everything, freedom of speech means that you can have a discourse, a civilized discourse in the bounds of a civilized society. That's what we're doing right here, right? Now, I don't have the right to say, so Washington Sox go bomb and burn down, just go bum rush Washington, D.C. Let's rise up and take over D.C. I don't have a right to say that, right? But I do have a right to question a lot of stuff that goes on there. That's the right. So as soon as you give up that right to question things that's going on, Dinas, whether you agree with me or not and everything, you've lost your civilization. And also, this thing will basically put in peril all the efforts we're trying to do in the Pan-African world, because they could say, something, Pan-African is a threat to America. So we're going to shut you down. Even though I believe that the founding fathers of America, right, would not have any problem with black people building bridges to their motherland. They would have no problem with that, But there's some people who think that if we do this, that means we're giving up on America and we're anti-American, we're anti-Black American, we're anti all this stuff like this, And so therefore, they basically will come after us eventually. you know, saying this doesn't fit right with their agenda. Where's their agenda? Oh, well, okay, let's say if you say we can't go to Africa, are you going to build Black America? No. So in other words, basically, you're not planning on building Black America. Black America's falling apart. Look at Gary, Indiana, and Detroit as a a case study. You know, there's nothing in Gary, Indiana, and Detroit that's worth salvaging, right? So you're not going to do enterprise zones. You're not going to do all this stuff like that. And everything you don't, and also, what about the Black community, Black family, right? The white community is still intact, right? The Asian community is still intact. Black immigrant community is intact. The Black America is in shambles, right? The whole culture is anti-Black African American family, you know. Benin Warrior, come on, 99 cents, bro. Come on, man. You know, if that's what all you can afford, 99 cents. Go right ahead. You know, geez, but I wouldn't even post that. That's embarrassing. Well, bottom line is this. There's nothing. I don't hear anything that talked about the Black. Bill Cosby said he wanted to buy NBC to promote more Black content. You see, we talked about before a few weeks ago about the disappearance of Black sitcoms and everything, right?
Right.
And so therefore, what was Black sitcoms? If you watch In the House with LL Cool J, did you ever see a white character on there? I don't think so. I don't remember seeing a white character in the house.
They might have a cameo, but there wasn't a regular.
Right, they might have a white guy. You know, they might have a cool white guy come in.
Yeah, come through. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah. You know, you might have that cool white guy once in a while as a token, right? Same thing with Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and stuff like that, right? But for the most part, you know, the idea of an all-Black society, Black people fellowshipping among themselves and stuff like that, it just basically died, you know? And the bottom line, nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that. Why? Because white people feel left out, right? They feel marginalized, right? Why don't we have any white people show up in the show? Well, shows like Friends never had no Black people in it. Steinfeld didn't have no Black people in it, right? You know, but Black people, we feel obligated to include everybody in everything we do. And now it's in politics, right? There's no Black political agenda. You got to include white people, everybody else in on our discussions, you know, about our community. You got Whoopi Goldberg sitting up there talking about racism to the world in front of with 3 white women, but 2 whatever, you know, beside them talking about Black issues and everything. And that's credible. And when I was coming up, Dynas, man, back in the 80s, that would never happen. And remember, when people talk about Whoopi Goldberg, remember she was married to Ted Danson. They did a
Kyle, you know what I just found out that's not even her real last name.
No, it's Whoopi Carton, something like that. You know, no.
Yeah. But she took on a Jewish last name, Goldberg.
Right, she got a Jewish last name. And the bottom line is she did that thing with Ted Danson. She was always into swirling and interracial and stuff like that, you know. And I have nothing against Whoopi Goldberg and everything, but I never thought that she would be a spokesman for the Black community, you know. She's with that left-wing crowd that believes that that they're going to change America into this place where Black and white people can intermarry with each other and do all this stuff together and stuff. And they don't understand. The majority, I was listening to this one guy on TikTok the other day, man. A lot of good brothers on TikTok. I'm deleting people who say stupid, coon and shit, right? Mm-hmm. But this one brother said on TikTok the other day, said, man, back in the days, you know, Benin was a gas high sell. You judging me? Okay, the gas, but Benin War, I bet you voted for Biden, so you don't get no sympathy from me, man. I bet you went there. Massa Biden.
Hey, that's all I got. Links in the chat room. Call in. Like we're gonna take a couple callers.
Yeah, we'll take some
calls and join the conversation.
And so therefore, like I said, these I thought I missed my train of thought. What I was saying. So that's what you have. You have these people that basically thought there was a build this new America, interracial marriage, and everything like that. And the whole idea of that, when I was coming up, Dynas, man, you would never had Black issues on. People were criticized when they went on shows like Phil Donahue and stuff like that. Like, oh man, we should be airing our dirty laundry out there. Now everybody participates in our dirty laundry. And our dirty laundry, Black America's dirty laundry, is out for the world to see. We don't know what's going on in Korean America. If you ever watch some movies, Dynas, right? You find something about people you didn't know. You know, right. You ever watch that? You ever say you watch an Israeli movie? Oh, I didn't know that was going on over there. You know, oh, okay, you know. Right. And it's like, but Black America, we have no secrets. Everybody knows our business. Everybody knows the tensions between Black men and Black women. We know the colorism in our community. We know all these things. How do the people in the world knows all this stuff about us? And we say, yeah, and we got this. I was like, well, why are you on this TV show? Why are you spreading that to the world? You know how they say bad boys, people move in silence, right? Whatever happened to our
Right.
societies and stuff like that we used to have, that we could solve our problems. And then when we try to solve our problems, right? Because we're a problem people, like I said before, Diane, we would know ourselves if we didn't have problems. We would know ourselves if we didn't have problems, right? It's like if we got on here tonight and said, Scholar, let's talk about how great things are in Black America. You know, nobody would listen. Nobody will listen. Nobody would care. We basically we have to start talking about showcasing Black success, Black people winning, Black people doing well, right?
Mhm.
Why? Because if you don't do that, right, then all those people, those kids that are going out there getting out. There's one kid that just got into an Ivy League school at the age of 13 and whatnot. You know, I posted on
Right.
Facebook. We don't talk about that, you know. But if somebody got shot, or whatever like that, that's oh man, you know. We have
Right.
to stop being so negative, you know. So like this, you know. So like I said, people in the chat, they'll take shots at me. Oh, Colin look like this, whatnot. Why don't you come on the show what you look like? You know, no, you won't do that, you know. You know. So the bottom line is this. The bottom line is what we have in our community is this: we are prone to negativity. We're prone to basically negative stuff. So therefore, when we talk about Black politics, it's always from a standpoint of, oh, Black people are so down and everything. It's not like back in the 80s, Dinas, we used to have Black politicians that were leading us, right? Said, look, we need to build this. We had dynamic politicians, people in Black America that were trying to lead us to a different direction, you know. Bill Cosby wanted to buy NBC, you know, and anybody that's trying to do anything progressive and forward and building everything from a Black standpoint and everything like that, that person is shut down. And the people that don't, the people that want to talk all the negativity stuff and everything like that, that we're starting from ground zero. Do you remember the magazine Upscale, Dinas?
I do.
Remember Upscale? And when I remember Upscale debuted like in the late 80s, right? At first, I didn't like it, right? I didn't like it because I said, "Oh, these are bougie," like that, you know, and I hated that, right? Because you know, like because, but now that I'm thinking about it, right now, I think years later, I see what they were talking about, right? They say, "Well, we want a magazine that caters to Black people who are winning, you know, who are doing well, right? Doing well, right?" At first, I thought, "Oh, that's going to divide our community and everything like that." You know, I was a kid, I didn't know any better, right? And then years later, I realized that, yeah, you do need, our community can't be always focused on, you know, poverty and crime and dysfunction. We have to basically be a community that basically has it all. That's what a community is. When you look at other groups of people, there are Chinese that are doing really well, and there's Chinese that are doing poor. There's everybody in the middle.
Color Genesis, can I take a shot at you?
Yeah, go ahead, brother. Try.
What I don't like about you is the Christian part. You feel me? I don't like the fact that you're a Christian.
So I mean, I can't help that.
I like almost everything else.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. What do you think about Nat Turner?
Oh,
what?
he was good for his time.
Oh, good for his time for what? Nat Turner was a Christian, man. He killed a lot of white folks.
Yeah, he was good for his time.
Well, let me ask you a question. What culture do you come from? What's your ethnicity?
Rastafari.
Rastafari. You know Rastafari. You know what they do?
Rastafari.
They smoke dope and they sleep with white women, fat white women on the beach.
Nah.
Oh, dude, man, come on.
Hey, hold on. Let me interject. Econ. Now they say that the Rastas on the beaches in Africa are fake Rastas, but they claiming Rastas.
Yeah, that's why you don't know. There's money.
But Econ, hold on. Listen. They smoke dope all day on the beach and sleep with fat white women. Hey,
that's what they do.
Hold on. You go to any beach in Africa, from damn Morocco to South Africa, they're gonna be some fake Rastas with some white women smoking dope.
Well. Okay. And
there's no okay on that, bro.
Wait. And Christians undress women and bathe them in front of the crowd.
What are you talking about? Where was that at? Where was that at, bro?
Also, Christians make
Hold
other
on.
Christians.
He's talking about now. You know those pastors in Africa, like in Ghana, they be
I
doing
ain't
some
Also,
wild.
I'm African American, bro. I'm not like that. I went to a black church, African Methodist Episcopal Church. You know what that?
you mean like,
We
hold
founded
on.
the Black Jesus, man. The African Methodist Episcopal Church is the reason why we have Pan-Africanism. That's what
Oh, you mean like Crawford Dollar? You're one of them.
No, I'm not. You know, Creflo Dollar, man. You know how stupid you sound. I'm not into all that. Matter of fact, I don't even go to church. You know, but my faith. If you're gonna ask me a religion, okay, I'm Christian, whatever like that, but also Buddhist. You know,
Yeah, but, all right.
practice
Okay.
Taoism. I practice.
You planning on being the president of Liberia?
I'm not
Right?
gonna be the I'm not gonna be the president of Liberia. Who told you that?
You planning on being the American Liberia president, next
First of all, there's
president?
no such thing as American Liberian. So you're wrong again.
Okay. All right. But to me, all right. I would want you to have that post.
Say that you're ignorant, you're high right now.
We're not cussing, boss man, and we're on the same team.
You're high right now, you're ignorant,
so cool with the insults.
That's not ignorant. You came on and insulted me talking about my Christian faith. I had no choice. I was born into
At least I'm not a hypocrite.
Well, I never told you I'm anything. Like I say, like when I talk politics, I'm talking about black. You know what my religion is? You know what you really want to know? I'm black in America. Surviving as a black man in America. That's my religion. If you really want to know.
Yeah.
You know, I like it. So until somebody says you dumb Christian, then I'll say it like that. But my first and foremost, I'm first to say I'm a black African in America. That's my religion. And surviving as a black man on this freaking planet. That's who the hell I am. If you really want to know. True that.
And I like Christians who are not real Christians. So
well, depends on what you mean by real Christians, man. The bottom line is this: some people practice. I'm not a practitioner of it.
All the people who proclaim.
Like that, but hold on, there's a lot of stuff in Christianity I don't agree with. You know, I don't believe in turning the other cheek. I don't believe in forgiveness and all that stuff like this, and love your enemies and everything like that. If you think that, you know, I don't believe in all that. You know?
Yeah, I mean, listen, all Christians who proclaim Christianity are Christians. Listen, you don't even know.
Let me tell you something, bro. Let me tell you something, bro.
Wait. Secular. Wait, Carla. Secular and.
Carla, can you finish? Let me finish the statement, Carla. Let me finish the statement. Go ahead.
In the secular world, they are Christians, and in the formal religious world, they are also Christians. So you really can't define Christianity as just them people that go to church. You feel me? So even the soldier, police, stripper, all of these people are Christians. Because even the government is Christians. You feel me? That's how you have to look at it. So that's why
let me ask you a question.
That's why I doubt. Listen.
Good.
That's why I'm saying I don't really appreciate the people who are in this liberation struggle and still hold on to Christianity. You feel me? Because that is part of our downfall.
Well, so in other words, so let me ask you a question. Ethiopia was a country that defeated the Italians. What religion did they practice?
I mean, if you are Ethiopian Christian,
answer the question.
It's kind of okay to me. If you're Ethiopian Christian, it's kind of okay to me.
Oh, this is what I'm talking about. When people have a fake gutter religion like Rastafari, you know, which is rejected in Africa, right? Because right now the Ethiopians don't want you, right? You go to South Africa, you guys are pariahs and everything like that. You're out there smoking dope, sleeping with white women, everything like that. You have nothing. Nobody, instead of getting people to respect your religion, right, which nobody does, right, you want to attack other people's religion, you know. And I always said this in the BAO: leave your religion at the door. When I come and have a discussion, anybody starts bringing up religion, you're gone. Because the bottom line is this: I'm black first. If you're black in this world and everything, that is your religion. That's what you are. You could have your own faith and everything how you want. You want to worship a head of lettuce, it's okay with me. You know?
Christians are thieves. y'all can't be trusted.
So
let's bring on Econ 5. We appreciate you coming on, brother. We're gonna bring on another caller. I appreciate you, brother.
Let's bring my own. Jeez.
All right, Ernest in Huntsville, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, guys?
What's going on?
I was on a few days ago, and I think this problem started the integration.
Bro, man, come on.
Come on, what, caller?
No, I'm talking about the guy. You can't hear him.
I hear him fine.
I can't hear him at all. I can't hear him.
Okay, that's on your end, caller. I hear him just fine. That's on your end. Maybe come in and come out.
Hold on. Can anybody else hear this guy? Can anyone?
Ernest, I hear him just fine. Ernest, I hear you just fine. That's on you, caller. I hear him just fine.
I hear you too, Prince. And
I hear you just fine.
I hear caller too.
Yeah. It's on you, caller. Just come in, leave and come out. Come back in, because
All right.
All right, guys, hold on. Let them come back in. Guys, hit that like button again. Please hit that like button. Like I said, I hear you just fine. It's Collar's. It's all Collar. Oh, Collar getting mad for it, man. Like, why Collar so mad?
Yeah, what's the topic tonight, man?
Hold on. Here we go.
All
right. Black people remaining ignorant, just to defend the Democratic Party. Here we go.
Okay.
Are you there, Collar? Can you hear us?
Yeah, my screen's all jacked up. Can you guys see me?
I hear you just fine. I see you just fine. Can you, Ernest, go ahead and talk, Ernest.
Okay. Like I said last week, I think the problem started at integration. Because I think pre-integration, and when I say integration, I mean mid-60s, pre-mid-60s. Now I know it was enforced upon us, but it seemed like at that time we jailed to a degree. After integration, all of our infrastructure came tumbling down because our businesses and everything, either they were integrated to, or they went out of business because we went and started buying on the other side of the street. And so we had become a wannabe mentally integrated society. I mean, in our Black minds. So,
yeah.
Collar, did you hear him, Collar?
Yeah, I heard him. He's absolutely right. Everything. But I would add to that, right? We were sold America integration. We can't say that it was forced on us. Like I said, I was watching this one documentary, right, from the 60s and whatnot, and I wanted to jump through a time capsule, go back and smack this dude in the head, right? Dude was saying, yeah, they was talking about the black middle class, right? This was 1959, right? He said, we want to be Americans, we want everything that afforded to us as Americans and everything. And bottom line is this, America sold itself to Black people, right? We didn't understand the repercussions and everything. And to this day, right, Black people want to be American. Nigerian, African immigrants want to be American and everything. So therefore, it was a pressure on us to basically dismantle all the institutions we have. It wasn't a matter of time before Ebony magazine fell. It wasn't a magazine for Essence magazine fell. All the Black things, that media and stuff like that, we tried to hold on to that. And people are, this is what I'm talking about, right? When you say we want a Black TV network, we want like that, right? Right now, people say, what's the purpose of that? You got Black major characters and white, so they thoroughly integrated us into their culture and their society and everything. So therefore, okay, that's fine. Now, if we say we want a Black only, right? We've sold the world of color blindness, one America, all the stuff like this. So they're saying, you guys are going backwards. You guys are resegregating yourselves. You see what I'm saying? See, what I said a couple of weeks ago, I said, there should have been a white man in 1963 they gave a I Have a Dream speech. White people, it had a Black man say, I have a dream. White people, of course you do. It's just like I have a dream. Check this out. It's just like when if you're broke, right, and you working for somebody that got millions of dollars and everything, right? I'm sure you get up there and say, I have a dream that we all here on the assembly line would get a Rolls Royce like our boss. Of course you would. When you don't have nothing, you could dream all you want, you know. But check this out. Wouldn't it would hold more weight if it was the boss who said, I have a dream that all my workers are going to have what I have. That doesn't happen in the real world. You know?
Kyle, you just made a point. Kyle, you just made a great point.
There's a jewel from the college Genesis, man. That's what I do. I drop jewels. You know? It's always the people who don't have all these dreams. Oh, I want the world to be a better place and everything like that. Until the people that have money and power, right, have that same dream, it means absolutely nothing. You can have all the dream you want and everything. The bottom line is we wanted to be close to America. We wanted our kids to go to a white school. And I had cousins, you know, and even though the schools were bad in parts of Queens, right, my uncle got his kids in Forest Hills High School in Queens. You know why? Because he wanted to be in that white school. And all my cousins, I guess you're right.
Hold on one second. Hold on. Hey, Ramsey, you got to turn off the playback.
Hold on one second. Hold on. Hey, Ramsey, you got to turn off the playback.
Oh, let me see.
Go ahead, Colin. We'll bring him on.
Yeah. So therefore, my uncle, I guess he was right. He was right about that. He was right. He said, "Look, I don't want my kids being ignorant." He came from North Carolina. My uncles came from North Carolina. My father, North Carolina, whatnot. And the bottom line said, look, we're gonna bust our ass. They were all successful civil service and everything, but we want our kids to be college educated and successful. And right now, they're right. How they did that? And they said, we're not gonna put them in these failing inner city schools. Man. We're gonna make sure they go to the best schools and the best colleges and everything, you know. And so they were right. So now, as far as like the HBCUs turned out top Black people in America, some of our top educated people. And stuff like that, you know, but that's even under threat right now. What do we need? People say, what do we need HBCUs now? People say that. For what I hear, Dinah, a couple of weeks ago, there's gang activity in Lincoln University right now, you know, and the University of Delaware. There's Bloods and Crips are. This is what I'm talking about, you know. And so a woman got stabbed. A woman came there. Somebody was fighting her niece or whatever. She came there and stabbed the girl on campus, on Lincoln University. You know, that was like 2 weeks ago. So therefore, we as Black people, we didn't basically, like when Trump basically said, look, I'm going to give permanent funding to the HBCUs in America. We're going to give permanent funding, right? That should have brought him so much political capital in the Black America, right? But it didn't. It didn't. Permanent funding of HBCUs. That means all that science stuff you would complain about years, I'm gonna give it. And he did. $50 billion, right, a year. HBCUs, right? You would think that would have bought him political capital. But what this shows me is that Phil? Is that Phil? From
Go ahead, Phil. Go ahead, Phil.
Show? Oh,
hey, what's going on? How y'all doing?
Phil,
what's going on, brother?
Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, I seen you had the great college Genesis up here.
So yeah, thank you, brother.
Holler at the great college Genesis up here.
It's an honor to meet you. Honor to see you again.
Go ahead. What'd you say, brother? I had to turn this up.
It's an honor to see you again, brother.
Good work
you're doing.
Yes, sir. I saw
even though I take my little shots here and there, brother. You know,
you take your shots. Okay, everybody take their shots.
I take my little shots after you once in a while, Phil, man. But don't go no place, man. You're doing a good job, man. You're doing a good job.
I couldn't hear you. Go ahead.
We appreciate what you're doing. We appreciate what you're doing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Hey, so I saw the title, man, and you're talking about Black folks being ignorant and then all stuff about the Democrat Party, correct?
Yes.
All right. So for my conclusion about that, man, I'll say there's two things that Black America have that really hurts Black America. White Jesus and the Democrat Party. That's the two things that hurt Black America. That keeps Black America in bondage. If you walk in Black people's house and see a white Jesus, walk out. If you walk in the church and see white Jesus, walk out. Because that was really just fed to us in slavery. We know that. That's not even the Bible. I mean, shoot, the Bible's clear what would the Lord look like. But they still want to, why does it matter? I mean, you look in, in Dinas, you're a citizen of Nigeria, that big old white Jesus statue. I said, Nigeria want to turn around and need to blow that statue up and get that idol out of that country. You got the devil coming into that country through that freaking idol. Anyway, Black folk, if you speak against the Democrat Party, they call you a Republican. Oh my God, you must be a Republican. I'm like, well, they've told me that I must be getting paid. I'm still waiting on the Republican Party to send me some money. I'm still waiting. I mean, if you just really tell them the truth, about something with that Democrat Party. Oh, they are pissed off with you. And so I just come to the conclusion that about 15% of black folks, and I'm going to say even globally, 15% of our global population gets it. The rest, that's about what we get.
May I say something really quick?
Yeah.
Hotep, everyone. So, really quick to what you were saying, Mr. Genesis, about us being sold integration. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude. I hope everybody's doing well this evening. It's my opinion that saying that we were sold integration may be more of a metaphor than we are conscious of. We weren't sold anything, in my opinion, because to be sold something is to have an option, right? An option to refuse what's being offered in exchange for something of equal value, or the option to accept it. And that's not what African people were. We weren't sold anything. We were literally forced into integration. The first phase of integration in America was chattel slavery. And then we were forced into the psychological propaganda and programming of social integration by way of the uh, economics, and mostly with education because of Brown versus Board, which caused other problems, obviously. And to Mr. Fields' point, he said that non-white black people who are victims of racism, which means if you all follow Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., it's a state of confusion that we're in. Religion is one of the things that white supremacists use to confuse. As a matter of fact, I went to Target today and there was a magazine about Jesus. And this picture of Jesus was blonde with blue eyes. So they're still pushing the white Jesus, not just to us, but to other people that are so called Christian believers, the ones that don't know any better. And for there to be confusion with the Democratic Party to stratify black people. I mean, that's just par for course because we aren't privy to the psychological tactics of white supremacy, which uses politics and then breaks up the politics by way of, okay, are you a Whig? Are you a Federalist, anti-Federalist? Back in the day, and then that transformed into, oh, are you a Democrat? Are you Republican? Are you independent? Are you libertarian? This is what they do. So honestly, on the cusp of there being a new election and everything, it's my opinion that we study the likes of Kwame Ture, respect to him, and the elder Fannie Lou Hamer, because what they were doing, it wasn't the fact that they were in the Delta pushing for voting rights. They were pushing for voting rights because they were trying to form their own political bloc. And if we're not trying to form a political bloc that's independent of independents, Republicans, whatever you want to call it, which were all already structured by suspected racists, if we're not doing something independent to participate in this political system, then there should be absolute abolition of it altogether, because obviously we're disagreeing, we're bickering, and it's causing name calling, and we're not getting anything done except being lulled into a virtual set of matrices.
But let me ask you a question though, right? Right now, that sounds beautiful, right? But right now, the majority of black women are celebrating that they're going to have a black woman on the Supreme Court. So what you just said sounds beautiful, but in reality is this, right? As long as black people settle for symbolism, right? Symbolism is now going to go. And we're still at the point, 2022, where the first black.
And Kyle, if I can interject, and they're already gearing up for Stacey Abrams.
So if I can answer that again, if I would invite people to go to producejustice.com because the elder who's still around, Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., is a very intelligent person of our time, and
But
he's
what does he
still
what does he
around.
have to say? Let me ask you a
So
question.
I
What
will
is
answer the
what
question.
what did
To,
he have to say about the current state of black politics in America, where it was vote blue no matter who, right? Them joining with the LGBTQ, them joining with all feminist stuff
okay,
like
so let's
anti-black
stay.
family,
If you
black
if
family.
you don't
Let me ask you a
mind,
question. Do you believe in
Colin, you got to let her answer the question,
okay, okay,
Colin.
good.
so if you don't mind, let's stay point by point. Okay. So again, we have confusion happening. The confusion is going to take different points. You have sexual confusion, which is what he talks about in the compensatory code, which is what they're practicing by breaking up the black family, pitting black men against black women, black men against black women, creating situations that cause non-white people to no longer procreate and abort their pregnancies and not plan properly. You also have what's called racial showcasing confusion. When white people pick a non-white black person to be the stereotypical, what do you call it, show person or spokesperson for their agendas, but because they have our phenotypes, and we assume because they have our phenotypes that they have similar backgrounds and upbringings as us, and then we find out, oh, they're married to a white person, or all of their rulings have been on behalf of corporations, which I found out the person being nominated basically did something to derail a class action lawsuit against, what was it, Freeport McMoran, somebody I can't remember right now, but she's pro corporation. She's a neo conservative, but we wouldn't know that if we don't practice due diligence to find out what her record is. So that means white supremacists know that we fall for racial showcasing confusion and sexual confusion and so forth and so on. So now someone needs to say out loud that's the modus operandi,
But
and
we've been
some
saying it for
people
years.
are, but are we conscious enough to accept it? And right now, I would say, unfortunately, we have so many things that we're not ready to reject. We're not ready to reject the, as they used to say when I was in the military, the warm and fuzzies, right? So we feel good seeing black people that look like they're in positions of power. We feel good knowing that we have certain technological advances at hand to, make our days and our whatever go smoother. We can order our food by phone, and we're forgetting who we are first, which are African people in the diaspora in America. And a lot of people also have rejected that, because I've talked to black people that say they're not African at all. So I don't know. I'm not saying I know what's going to happen. I'm just saying hopefully people do like me, and maybe I think Mr. Phil may agree with me because I've heard him say things similar. If we get on code, which I believe is the compensatory code by Mr. Neely Fuller Jr., and read that and dedicate thought, speech, and action to this, it'll be less easy for them to present these racial showcasing and sexual confusion situations to us that, you know what I'm saying, the psychology won't work so easily.
I got a
Well,
question. I got a question.
right.
I got a question. What's the solution? What's the solution? What's solution starting? Let's start with the election this year in 2022. Do we stay home? It's a
Yes.
question. It's a question. It's a question.
I say yes. Stay.
Personally, I'm not going to cast a vote for the lesser of two white supremacist evils
Okay,
or
okay,
any
okay. Part two.
evil.
Part
But
two of the
I
same
don't, but
question.
I can't
Let,
tell other
Okay,
people to do that. So that's my
okay,
solution personally, individually.
okay. 2024. Do we stay home?
my hope. This is my opinion. This is my opinion right here. Right here. Right. This
Well, I
right
know
here.
it's your opinion. Do we stay home? I'm
Yeah,
asking a
let me know
question.
when I can go.
My opinion. My opinion is this: let it all crash and burn and build it back up again. You know.
I was basically going to say, essentially, when are we as black people going to divest completely from the corporation of the United States of America and be willing to take whatever reward and consequence comes with that?
A lot of us are already
define
a lot of us are
divest.
already doing that. We're building overseas and stuff like that. We're already doing that. The bottom line is this: because this conversation is not happening on the national media, people don't pay attention to it, right? Because you have Diane Samir has been to the continent dozens of times, right? Met with all kinds of people. Phil Scott does the Vice Channel and everything. I mean, excuse me, African Diaspora Channel. He does that. You know, you got all these people, Bomani Tambo, everything like that. But none of this basically, since it doesn't reach the mainstream media, right? People are still having the talking because people are giving you an option, right? People are going to the continent, building, going global. Black people are getting into things like Bitcoin and stuff like that. You got a whole new generation that are basically coming up and everything. But because it's not on CNN, everything, we're having this conversation. What we need to do. There's people out there who know what to do. They're doing it, but we're not.
Hey, Colin, you just said something because it's not on CNN. If it's not on
Because
CNN or
it's not on CNN, we're
MSNBC,
having
it
the
doesn't
same
exist.
conversation. What we need to do. What we need to do. Well, like we heard all that before. The philosophy of one century should be common sense in the next, right? We heard everything Kwame Ture, all these people have to say. And our job is to put these things into action, right? Or shut up about it, you know? So we got people doing all the stuff the sister's talking about, right? But because it's not on CNN, people think like it's not happening.
Well, yeah, the people that watch CNN probably, like you saying, yes. So, I mean, unfortunately, uh, it didn't start with a gigantic flow, right? This big effervescent flow of racism and people just boom, they're in America. It happened through subtle, slow processes beginning in the 16th century, from what I'm understanding, as far as England goes, and mainstreaming colonialism, and then slowly but surely built up on itself. So we're going to have the same type of expectations, but we have to have the expectation with bona fide, codified direction. So I don't want to stay on the line because you have a
Sister
very
RP.
supreme.
Yeah,
Hmm?
Sister RP.
let's do this. Let's do
Yes.
this. Let's okay, Ernest, and then we'll pass it back to Phil. Go ahead,
Okay.
Ernest.
So define divest from corporate America. And keep in mind now, you said you went to Target today.
Okay. So I'm going to say this personally to start. I am dedicated to replacing the system of racism, white supremacy with the system of justice, which is a balance among people in which no one is mistreated and those who need help get the most constructive help. So much so, I'm willing to live out in the woods with my people if that's what we all choose to do. But I am not choosing to do that alone. I would like to know that whatever move I make in lockstep with the group. You understand? So that's what I mean. If we all said right now, we're willing to give up every modern convenience just to say hell no to the system of racism, white supremacy, and literally hunker down or fight whatever battles needs to be fought. There's people like me that's willing to do that right now, this minute. That's what I mean by
I
divesting
think
from
we
the
tried that
corporation.
before. We tried
So
the hippie movement had that before and it failed.
I'm not
You
sure.
know,
I'm not sure.
if you're gonna be in the United States, right?
I'm not talking about necessarily in the United States. And I'm not necessarily talking about only in the United States or only in Africa. We need non-white people globally to
Non-white or
say
black people. There has to be
we
something right
need
there.
black people
Hold up, no,
and non-white people.
this is
Okay,
a
Well, hold on, well, let's do this. Let's pass it. Go ahead, Phil. Unmute yourself, Phil. Go ahead.
All right, cool. So the sister talking about Neely Fuller and the great brother. But this is the problem. We've had some of the best people to give us knowledge for years. Okay, you can go all the way. You want to talk about this here in America and what to do? You can listen to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He told you to separate, do for self. Okay, well, if you don't want to do that, you had Marcus Garvey telling you, hey, let's get our stuff together. Let's go back to the motherland. You had King, you had Malcolm X, you had Dr. Francis Crest Wilson. You talking about politics? You have Dr. Claude Anderson. You can give Dr. Amos Wilson. All these people we could just name over and over and over. Louis Farrakhan. So many people we can name. Wealth of knowledge, and we worse off today. You know why we worse off today? Because we are a stubborn people. We are stiff-necked, and we are rebellious. We don't want to listen to nothing. We got all the knowledge from those people. Nobody else needs to come and give you anything. It's always what's the solution? What's the solution? There's so many solutions you've been given already. What more could you be given? What more? That's what I don't understand. No, you don't want a solution because the solutions are even put in books for you, speeches, everything right there. Those people have come ahead of time to they've given their lives to black folk, got old and died, and still have seen black folks get in a worse condition than what we are today. So I don't even like to hear that term, what's the solution? Because you don't want a solution if you're asking that question. You're talking about that election. The Democrat Party today has disrespected Black America worse than they ever done, I believe, in my lifetime. I mean, you get them in there to get elected, and what they do, they give a bag to everybody else. I mean, do you realize dogs in America are federally protected over black folk? It's just not the Asians, the dogs. Go look it up. There's a federal law. If you abuse a dog, your behind can get federally charged. That won't happen for black folk. Okay, this is what's going on in America. You can get the same thing in the Ukraine. The dogs are going to safety, and Africans are in Sumi right now under Russian shelling. Okay, this just who they are at this point, right? So the election is, I say you got two choices. You can sit it out, or if you're not emotional, but a lot of black folks are, you can do a protest vote, right? Either way, you don't give your vote to the Democrat Party. Yes, 2024. Same thing. We need to check out the political process. Now, you talk about CNN. Nobody respects CNN. Nobody respects Joy Reid, Roland Martin, and the rest of them. We are actually controlling the narrative, but y'all just not paying attention enough to understand that, right? The thing is, there's a lot of black folk that we're going to have to let go. And I know it's going to be hard for a lot of black people to hear that and understand that. We're going to have to walk away from them, right? The people that want it, get with them. The people that want to build something, get with them. You don't need really the majority to even change the masses. You just need a strong contingent that's going to stick with that. But y'all trying to carry people that don't want to do nothing. They got people right now, Democrats make the plantation sound good. They're like, well, shoot, man, I mean, I ain't got to pay rent no more. And, man, I ain't got food and clothes, man. At least I have a job. I mean, as long as the Democrats give it to you. I mean, that's about what a lot of black folks are at right now. And that's by choice, right? Because we have a lot of black people in America doing so well for themselves. They created more businesses in the pandemic than any other group, right? And I disagree with the sister about needing other non-black people.
That's
like
no
other groups of people.
Well,
we
I
got
didn't
to talk about self-preservation. Well, the reason why I disagree with her is this. The reason why I disagree with her is this. Black folks have been the most loving community to everybody. We're talking about politics, to everybody, right? We say black and Asians, black and Latino, black and everybody else, right? When these said groups politically get their leg up in America, they do for themselves, and they say, forget y'all black folks.
Mr.
Man,
Phil,
pull
can
yourself
I
up by your
respond to
bootstraps
that,
and do it for
please?
yourself. What other groups? Look, right now, the Asians getting all this special treatment. Why don't they turn around and say, hey, black people did speak up for us. Let me look out for my black brother and sister. Hey, y'all need to put them along on this hate crime bill that's with us.
Mr.
Not
Phil,
saying a word.
let me respond to that real quick. When I said that we need other non-white people to do it, I didn't necessarily mean in the continental United States, because they've had the same psyops run on them. As a matter of fact, they've been rewarded to do what you just described, which is basically turn their back on us. So I didn't mean that, and I didn't get a chance to say this. I'm talking about non-white people that still have sovereignty of themselves to whatever limited capacity is available now on their own sovereign land, to tell Europe and America, we don't want to deal with you. You understand? So
Are you paying attention right now, ma'am?
Phil, if I can interject, Phil. So I give you a prime example. In China, they were literally blaming Africans for the Wuhan virus in China. They were blaming. Nobody likes us globally. I mean, that there is no,
I'm not
non-white.
surprised. Here's the thing, I'm not surprised, but here's the thing we have to pose to them. If we're playing chess, not checkers, then the question needs to be, you don't like black people, but do you not like black people more or less than you don't like the white people that keep coming into your countries,
Yeah,
starting conflicts,
yeah,
taking resources and
yeah,
spreading diseases? Are we
yeah.
doing that, or is it white people? And let them answer the question themselves, and then hopefully they can make the decision decision to do
They pick
something
white
to
people all the
also
time.
They're
resist
gonna
as
pick
well.
white people. They're
But
always
okay,
gonna pick
People
white
all the
so
people.
time.
let's do
They'll pick
They're
this.
gonna pick
white
white
people all the time.
people.
So this is what I'm ultimately saying too, because I want other people to talk. United, independent. That's what the code is. We have to do things independently, and then as we do things to codify independently in our survival groups, meaning our families, then hopefully we can get some repletion where we'll be doing it in totality as a group. So I'm still learning. I don't have all the answers, but I'm learning from some very incredible people. I just want to end my turn and thank you, Prince
Thank
Amir, for
you.
letting me come on and Kyla and tell people at least start learning how to grow some food, because this food situation is one thing to have to stay
I'm building a
independent.
garden. I'm building a garden in my
Exactly.
backyard. Does that count? I'm building a garden in my backyard.
Yes, absolutely. Let's
Uh,
practice due diligence with that at least, and then peace if you're willing to fight for it. Thank you.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Soul Sister number 9. How many people ever heard Soul Sister number 9? I go way back. I don't know how I feel is. I go way back. Yeah, in New York City those were one of the Black Power chants back in days when I was like in elementary school. That's how old I am. Soul Sister number 9, sock it to me one more time. And you know something? The movie with Jack Black called Rockstar, something like that with Jack Black, they brought that up. It takes white people to bring something up. That was one of the Black Power chants of back in the days, right? And that song, Soul Sister number 9, sock it to me one more time. Soul Sister number 3, keep your white hands off of me. Something like that was back in the Black Power era. And my family was in that, in the Black Panthers and stuff like that back in the days. And so basically those are the things that we need to know about as far as like our history and stuff like that goes on to. But we're living in a modern world, and we have to keep moving on. We have to adjust and adapt. And what I love about the Pan-African movement right now is that we're on the cutting edge of technology. You got Pan-Africans doing amazing things, right? I mean, amazing things. Who would ever thought that Phil Scott is doing what he's doing, right? But he doesn't get no recognition. You'll never see him mentioned on MSNBC or CNN or anything like that. Mark Blanton, what he's doing in South Africa, right? And you'll never see this, right? So when people think there's people that got the answers, right, that are doing it, right? But because we don't hear it on CNN, we don't hear it on MSNBC, we go back to what we need to do. There's people doing these things, they're connecting us and everything. And all we have to do is put the dots together and get out of this. We realize that we can't pass our jobs and our bad decision with the Democrat onto our next generation. We have to build something for our day. The world is becoming global. Everybody is jockeying position in Africa. There's people, the Russians, the Chinese, Lebanese, everybody's on the continent trying to put their stake in. The Turks, everybody is trying to do something, right? The Black people in America have to basically say, look, we have to think beyond the shore. This is not just some abstract thing. If we want to be recognized in the global politics, right? Because right now, what they're going to do is this. Let me listen to this carefully. Right? I think it was on your show, Dinus, right? I think Pan African Strikes Back said this, right? So when somebody was asking them about we have the Congressional Black Caucus, and Brandon said it brilliantly. He said those people are not beholden to the Black community, like the guy from West Virginia, right? Yeah, he is the people finance the senator. What's the senator mansion? He's connected with the people, right? There's all the Black politicians you see in the Congress and everything. Black money didn't put them in there. It was Democratic money and corporate America put them in there. So that's who they'd be beholden to. So therefore, we can't vote them out. Why? Because they're going to say, well, if you it's take this or leave it, or we're going to put, or you want a Republican? No, we don't want a Republican there. So the Democratic Party, the Democratic DNC, decides who's going to be in our district. That's why we have congressmen there for 30, 40 years and don't do anything. And the districts look like hell on earth. Why? Because there's no 45 million people, right, have no political power in America. A congressman, you're supposed to change your congressman like you change your underwear. You got 3 terms, or you didn't do nothing. You didn't bring home the bacon. Look at the districts, right? Look at the district. Now, I talked about a couple weeks ago about redlining. Redlining is not just redlining as far as housing and everything. This also redlining is where Boeing or Lockheed Martin is going to build their next helicopters and everything. And they always redline areas where Black people's at. No, we're going to build in the white community right here. Remember a couple of years ago, there was these big packed helicopters going to be built, right? The whole town showed up and said, we want this contract. Why? Because it's going to be billions of dollars in their community, right? The congressman, everybody was on board, everything like that. This was like about a decade ago, right? And the whole town was like, the next plane is going to be built in, and they announced the town. The whole auditorium erupted. The whole town was there. When's the last time you've seen that in Black America? When's the last time a congressman brought home a major contract to a Black district? It never happened because they don't have to happen. They don't have to give you anything. All they use is fear and stupid tactics and everything. It's time to move forward from that. We want to say like that. You want our vote? We're not. You better bring home the bacon. Newt Gingrich's district in Georgia. He's a congressman. He was a speaker of the House. He got major things in his district. They call it pork barrel politics all you want, but we don't get none of the pork. There's nothing in our districts that our Black congressman brings back. They don't have to. All they have to do is just play this racism, white supremacy game, blah, 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 and you'll go out there and vote for them. You think they care about police brutality? No. Police brutality is how they motivate you to get you to the polls. They're saving this brother that got killed in Minneapolis for the elections. They said, oh, man, I wish this could have happened right around this, September because we could motivate Black people, right? It's too early right now. That's why you're not hearing nothing about it. But time goes on, right? Mark my words. Everybody hear me say this right here. Right around September, right? Right around, I will say, when's football season kick off, right? Football season kicks off and everything. They know you're going to be distracted by football and everything. So right around October, when elections come around, right away, they're going to pull out Jay-Z and Beyonce and everything, and they're going to start you up over again. No knock warrants. Remember Breonna Taylor. It's going to be all over the media and everything, and they're going to get you angry, and they say, you know something, Black folks? If you're angry, go vote. That's what. So in other words, we don't have nothing left. They don't have no game plan for Black America other than using our emotion every 2-4 years to get us to the polls. And that's what we're at.
Let's do this. So, Phil, Ernest, and Kyler will let you close out. Go ahead, Phil. Anything else you want to share in closing?
Yeah, I heard Kyler mentioning Mark Blanton in South Africa. I'm actually going out there with them next week. I'll be out there.
Oh, yeah, okay. Mark, tell Mark I said what's up. That's my boy right there.
Yeah, I'll be out there. Me and my team be out there next week. Look, bottom line, the situation, yes, I know Black folks are fractured, and you mentioned these Black politicians. You go on fec.gov and type in these politicians' names, you can see the people who's donating to them in a corporation. So like Clyburn, last time I checked, he had $2 million given to him by many corporations, and these corporations wasn't Black people. Raphael Warnock had about 30 million. And he's kind of trailing in the polls a little bit behind Herschel Walker, of all people. Yes, Herschel Walker. Even though you know how I feel about Herschel Walker, but you know what? At this point, I don't even care if Herschel Walker get in there because as long as the Democrats,
we need a shakeup.
The Democrats.
They need to come back to us. They need to come back to us strong with something on the table. Let them fight.
Let them finish, Kyler. Then you can close out. Let them finish.
So anyway, like on my podcast, I'm dedicated to giving the business to the Democrats now because I see Black folks. That's like one of the biggest Achilles heel of progress for Black people is the Democrat Party. Even look at it, Ketanji woman. How she ruled against Black people in a lawsuit with Lockheed Martin. This was some open white supremacy that was going on. Even Black folks got killed at that plant, and this woman still decided and messed off. She messed off the settlement because Lockheed Martin said, "Okay, I'm gonna give them $22 million. We'll settle." No, this chick purposely messed it off. She messed off a settlement for Black people, and this supposed to be your sister girl, But I always tell people, if white folks are picking them, they're not for Black empowerment. Always remember that. If they don't come from the soil, then they are like white, like Sister Vicky say, they're white people's Black people. That's exactly who they are. So I'm not gonna continue to keep going, but Dinas, appreciate you letting me come up. Shout out to Kyler here. Keep giving them hell, I guess, in Liberia.
Yeah.
I heard they're scared.
Look, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there this summer. If you want to broadcast live from Liberia, I'll be there. I'll be doing the bicentennial thing, and I got a lot of events set up and everything. So if you want to do a broadcast live, I want to do a broadcast live on Dinas. Everybody wants to do a broadcast. I'll do it. When I'm over there. So hopefully I'll meeting with the president too. So.
All right, brother.
Hey, Phil, appreciate you coming on, Phil. I appreciate you coming on, Phil.
Oh no problem.
Sorry, Pete. Go ahead, Ernest.
Okay. I I was actually with Lockheed Martin at the time of the lawsuit.
Really?
Go ahead. Tell so what happened, Ernest?
It basically was a class action lawsuit. Uh, it was about 6,000 of us black employees, and we weren't getting promoted. You know, the usual. And what had happened was that um, Lockheed had settled for a certain amount, and the sister, I, my name was just on. I wasn't following it that closely, but anyway, she rejected the settlement. She rejected the settlement, and I think she was a judge at the time, and she rejected the settlement. That's pretty much that was a while back. That's all I remember now. But um, she got zaddy, so I mean, she doesn't get my vote anyway. But anyway, uh, as Houdini said this about, I think it was about 30 years ago. Houdini said, it all comes down to the money, whether it's rainy or snowy or sunny. It all comes down to the money. And like Dr. George Fraser said, you can't do anything without money.
Hey, Ernest, do you know John Cashin?
I do not. He's in Huntsville.
Yeah, he's from Huntsville, and he's in Lagos, Nigeria right now. He's our friend. I introduced him to Dynas a couple years ago. He's in Huntsville, Alabama. He's from Huntsville, Alabama. The Cashin family, the Cashin family.
Okay. I'm not familiar.
Okay, yeah, okay. I thought you might have known him. I thought everybody down there know each other. I'm stereotyping. Y'all must all know each other.
It's 200,000 people here, so
Yeah, well, he hasn't been there in decades, but that's his family. His father was John Cashin Sr., who was ran for senator or something like that, governor or something like that years ago, back in the '60s, whatever, so like that. So, but
okay, let me give, before I go, let me give you a quick drive-by about Huntsville. 60% of us weren't born and raised here because there are a lot of defense contractors here, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, General Dynamics. So most of us.
Let me ask you a question. What do you think what I said about the redlining, as far as like you said you came from someplace else, right? To go to work there at Lockheed Martin.
I was in the military here, so I just stayed.
Okay,
here.
but what I'm saying about redlining is this: when they build Lockheed Martin and all these other people build these massive projects and everything like that, is it me or my little limited research and whatnot? Do they basically make sure that they go into the whitest areas and stuff like that? And black people maybe have to relocate or go. I think that's why it's hard for us to build communities up and concentrate our wealth, because we always got to go to white areas and move out in their suburbs and stuff like that.
You're incorrect in that part. You're correct as far as the congressman bringing home the bacon, because all of our Congress people, because of what Huntsville is and the history of it, they make sure the defense contract dollars get here. So once again, it comes down to the money.
Yeah. So the congressman, you saying the congressman brings all this stuff?
They bring the congressman. I think this is the 5th district in Alabama, North Alabama. They make sure that the bacon comes here as far as defense contracting dollars. So,
well, how many black? Is there a large black community up there in that?
It's pretty sizable. It's about 35-40%, but not enough to control the Huntsville infrastructure. But everybody here, you're trying to get a defense contracting job so you can make 6 figures. I mean, that's just the way it is here. It's different from the rest of Alabama, and people in Alabama will tell you that Huntsville's a lot different demographic.
Yeah. Huntsville, yeah. The rest about the black out Mobile. What's the chances of a defense contractor coming to Mobile?
One's already there.
All right.
One is already there. We got Lockheed Martin has a facility down there building the rockets. So they've been there. They've been there about 15 years.
Right. Is a lot of black people employed in there?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, they have.
All right, guys.
Well, thank you for joining.
Go ahead, Kyle. Go ahead and close out, brother.
Okay, this is a great conversation. If you want to get a hold of me, go to my website, download the app of the Black African Infrastructure. This is what we talk about. So you want to connect with positive people on the ground, stuff like that. Every country from Zambia, Liberia, and everything. We got everything rocking. Get my book, Journey to the Promised Land, on Amazon. Get my book, Journey to the Promised Land on Amazon. It's only $19 on Amazon and everything, or you can download it on Kindle. But make sure you read it. It makes you understand the Liberian mission and what I'm past history and what we're trying to do now and stuff like that. And like I said, I want to thank Prince Dinah Samir for having me tonight and everything. And like I said, we made a lot of progress tonight. We talked about this, and I think after the conversation tonight, if you're still basically talking about just go out there giving your vote and everything, after the gas prices were $10 hit $10 a gallon, it's all on you, right? You can't say that. You cannot say after you heard this discussion tonight, right? Yeah, you weren't warned. We warned you in the past. We warned you about the gas prices going to go up because what the policy. We didn't care about what Biden was talking about fracking. We didn't care about what he talked about the Keystone Pipeline. We didn't see all these warnings and everything. And the people that's going to hurt. Well, do you know I found out today, Dinus, that even if they have electric cars, do you know 60% of the batteries, the thing that charge electric cars, is fossil fuels. In other words, the things that produce the thing, it's still fossil fuels. You're still going to need fossil fuels to power the electrical cars, the recharging. So therefore, now they talk about fossil thing. The average price of an electric car is $65,000, Dinus. They're telling you now that, okay, don't worry, we're going to switch to electric cars. All this insanity. And let me say this, and I want.
Hey, Kyle, do you know how much it costs? Like, say you get an electric car, it's not in the warranty. You know how much it costs that the battery, not the the battery. You know how much it costs to replace that?
How much?
Like $20,000.
$20,000. What kind of black people? You're saying that you in our ignorance as black people, right, have latched onto this insane climate nonsense and everything. Oh, green energy. You don't understand what this costs, right? If they're going to get rid of the working class and everything, and this is what they want to do. They want to give you a paycheck just to live, right? The COVID was just a test case. We keep you at home. You don't have to work anything. You stay in your house, sit on social media, watch your OnlyFans, and do all that stuff like that all day and everything. And then basically while they're running the country, they just give you a payoff. But if you don't want that, you want better for your kids. You want to get out there and work. You want to have achieve wealth, success in society. That's what they're against. Why? Because they're telling you, no. You're not going to need your car anymore. We're going to give you electric cars. Well, what are you in the middle? Well, wait 15 years, you'll have an electric car. Well, what about now? We can't afford to drive. Oh, well, what, like that. Look, elections, voting have consequences, right? And we have to basically, as a community, take that big L, right, as a loss. Black America, this is you. A big L. That's what you have. We basically voted for against our own interests, and this time, it ain't gonna take a decade to feel the effects of it. You're feeling it now, and the whole thing is, I don't know what to tell you. I'm in a better financial position right now. I'll wait it out. I don't like paying what I'm paying at the pump today. That is $4.30 a gallon. I was angry.
When I pumped my gas this weekend, we're at 5 here in Atlanta, around the corner from my house.
We're states right now. The gas price thing, you can sit at a traffic light and watch the gas price rise in real time. The thing is going up, blip, 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 blip. It's like watching a freaking frightening horror movie. And the whole thing is this, black folks or not, this is what you wanted. This is what you voted for. Your fear, your ignorance. You thought these white people were finally on your side. Oh yeah, we're joining again with white folks. You see white people out there praying, asking for forgiveness. Remember that? Oh yeah. That was all a show by these white liberals and whatnot, right liberals, the Trump haters and everything, the LGBT and everything, to get you on this thing like, oh, we need to change all stuff. We did not need them. We never needed them before integration, and we don't need them now. And so the bottom line, this is what we're trying to tell you. First of all, we need to build Black America, and we need to build strong ties with Africa. We need to build strong ties with other allies around the world. Let's talk to Iran. Let's talk to Putin. Let's talk to China. I know that's radical what you're talking about with that. Our ancestors talked to Fidel Castro. Remember that?
Right.
Black people had Fidel Castro come to Harlem, speak in Harlem in the 90s or whatnot. In the 90s. And so the bottom line is this generation of Black people, we got to stop giving up that cowardice. We don't owe any allegiance to anybody. We only have allegiance. We don't have no permanent friends. We have no permanent enemies. We don't have permanent interests, right? And so the bottom line is anybody wants to talk to Black America right now, I'm saying Black America is open for business. If South Africa wants to talk to us, Liberia wants to talk to us, Nigeria, whoever it is, we're open for business, right? If the United States want us to talk to us, you better come to the table. That's how we should be with our vote going forward. And we have to, and this midterm is going to tell. If we come out in numbers for Democrats, for the next 50 years, it's over with. It's over with for Black America. Nobody will ever try to reach out to us again. The Republicans, whatever, they're not going to try to reach out to us. And the bottom line, Democrats are not going to give you anything. They don't have to. You're showing them they don't have to give you anything. And they're going to keep giving you nothing. And our community is going to keep going down and down and down and down until the bottom drops out. So that's what the College Genesis have to say for this week. And we'll be back next.
Yes, sir. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror, search for Huru.
Peace.